Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and here is your detailed forecast update for February 8th, 2025. A lot to get through today. We're going to be recapping on the rainfall that's occurred up in far north Queensland, talking about what's still to come on the forecast, with plenty more heavy showers and storms expected throughout the remainder of this weekend. We're going to be talking about the tropical rainfall onset up in the Northern Territory in Western Australia, with a powerful tropical cyclone now in the making offshore from the WA coastline, and we'll touch on Tropical Cyclone Vince, which is now a Category 5 strength severe tropical cyclone well offshore from WA. All of that plus more coming up in today's weather forecast. If you're brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing, but let's get stuck straight into things this morning up in far north Queensland, of course. You can see on the radar imagery and the satellite imagery there is some enhanced convection up in the Gulf of Carpentaria right now, and some significant rainfall is expected to be occurring around the Corumba area up through some of the indigenous communities on the western side of the Cape York Peninsula, with rainfall being heavy at times as far north as Thursday Island, and plenty of showers and storms to go around up there as well. Plenty of rainfall being dragged in to the Northern Territory as well, officially starting off the 2025 Northern Rainfall onset up there. It is a couple of months later, but that's enough for the Northern Territory, at least for the time being. It is Queensland, of course. We're focused on plenty of showers and thunderstorms also overnight around the central to the North Queensland coastline between Mackay up to through to about Townsville, with falls up to about 130 millimetres around the Bowen area, and then falls between 60 and 100 millimetres around Townsville. A further 65 millimetres fell at already saturated Ingham, which is taking their 10-day rainfall totals now to 2,000 millimetres around Ingham and the Cardwell Gap, so some really significant falls there. And rainfall didn't really materialise in a dramatic fashion for the Atherton Tablelands like we did expect. There were some heavy showers in the vicinity, and there were some decent contributions to the rivers up there. However, again, showers and thunderstorms didn't fully materialise as per what the forecast was suggesting. There are still a few showers and thunderstorms lingering as well across central Queensland in the latest radar frames, as you can see right now, if these are willing to load through. But you can see a few showers and thunderstorms still lingering around here, and a couple of good thunderstorms offshore. But for the most part, showers and thunderstorms has eased off as expected this morning. However, we are expecting them to pipe up once again this afternoon, so let's jump straight into the forecast now and take a look at what is expected. I haven't actually looked at the convective forecast models, but I feel like they're going to be accurate once again. You can see pretty much initializing exactly what's being shown on the satellite and the radar imagery, with that low pressure system offshore from Townsville right now, and the majority of the rainfall being dragged offshore as well. It'll be a very similar forecast as to what happened last night. Showers and thunderstorms developing as the day goes on. And about 3 or 4, we're expecting some decent thunderstorms to be moving into the Atherton Tablelands, and then about an hour later than that through the Cardwell Gap area and down through the Harvey Range and the Townsville Range, or the mountains outside of Townsville at least. And these showers and storms will be heavy to locally intense at times, especially later on this evening. We could be seeing some isolated heavy falls around the Cassowary Coast, and some decent falls also as you get further south and further inland too, with heavy rainfall extending as far south as Charters Towers and as far inland as Richmond, Hughenden, Torrens Creek and Julia Creek, even expecting a couple of good drops of rainfall to be passing just to the north of those areas. The showers and thunderstorms will ease off as the night goes on. You're expecting a bit of a drop in terms of the intensity of these thunderstorms after the sun sets, but there will still be plenty of showers and thunderstorms in the vicinity of North Queensland, especially around the Cassowary Coast later on tonight. I'm expecting showers and thunderstorms to remain heavy at times for locations along the coast and just inland between Cairns down towards Townsville, with isolated moderate to heavy showers expected south and north of Townsville as well, with those isolated heavy showers making it about as far south as Proserpine too. Now, by tomorrow morning, we're expecting the low pressure system that's going to be powering all of these showers and storms tonight to head offshore from the Cassowary Coast, and then from then on, it'll be a bit of an interesting fact in the forecast to see what actually happens here. And with this low pressure system will come some significant falls by the looks of things, so it certainly could be tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon into late tomorrow night, some heavy falls here and there along the Atherton Tablelands and along the Cassowary Coast north of Cardwell but south of Innisfail. Wherever this low pressure system gets itself offshore, I'm expecting some very heavy falls to materialise here, and that's likely to happen sometime tomorrow afternoon. We will be likely seeing some brief periods of heavy rainfall between Innisfail down towards Townsville, with the heaviest falls being concentrated on the southern extremities of the Cassowary Coast. Absolutely, they do not need any more rainfall, but it looks like a little bit more is coming to get them. Throughout the course of Monday, there has been a bit of a change in the forecast here, at least from the axis, but the ECMWF still calling for this low pressure system to be driving a few showers around further south of the Cassowary Coast, and I expect there still to be some showers and storms here and there for Townsville on Monday, and there will be a couple of showers and thunderstorms also firing up into Monday afternoon and evening, especially along the interior parts of the Cape York Peninsula, and then along the northern parts of the Cassowary Coast up into the Daintree and about as far north Northers, Cooktown and Hopevale. So a few thunderstorms and showers will still linger across far north Queensland, but for the most part, showers and thunderstorms will ease off through Monday and then towards Tuesday as well. And whilst there is still some rain expected and a bit of a resurgence in rainfall expected around the Townsville and the Cardwell area on Tuesday morning, that will be the last of the really decent rainfall by the looks of things, with it clearing out Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So just to recap, showers and thunderstorms expected to dominate the North Queensland scene for the next 48 hours or so, with some heavy showers expected tonight along the Cassowary coast extending south to Townsville, and some moderate heavy showers expected between Townsville down towards Mackay. Good rainfall also expected further inland across the Cape York Peninsula, thunderstorms and showers piping up again Sunday night as the low pressure system gets itself offshore. We're expecting some heavy falls between Cairns down to Cardwell, with the heaviest falls being between Innisfail down towards Cardwell, and isolated heavy falls expected adjacent to the coastline and adjacent to those areas there. And then heavy rainfall will ease off temporarily on Monday afternoon and evening before it pumps up again Tuesday morning as that final low pressure centre gets itself offshore, and we'll likely be seeing some heavy falls here and there Tuesday morning between Cairns down towards Bowen, with the heaviest falls by the looks of things being concentrated between Cardwell and Ingham and down towards Townsville. Still a little bit of a wild card as to how much rainfall Townsville will end up getting on Tuesday morning, because there is quite a few discrepancies between the forecast models now in terms of where this low pressure system will be, but it is really only the axis that's calling for it to be in a pretty wacky position. Both the Eastern Weather and the GFS are pretty much neck and neck in what they're saying here, and I do expect some moderate heavy rainfall to be the icing on the cake around Townsville. Now, whilst this rainfall will be moderate and heavy, there's two pieces of good news here for this rainfall event. It's going to be coming in the form of more heavy rainfall, so those showers aren't as likely to be as dangerous in terms of just contributing massive amounts of water to those river levels in such short stints of time. And whilst there will be some heavy falls here and there, the rainfall is expected to be a lot more steady on Tuesday morning. It's also not going to be that long-lived as well. We're not expecting 24 hours of solid rainfall here. It really only just passes by throughout Tuesday morning and into very early Tuesday afternoon, with the rainfall expected to ease off by early Tuesday evening. So as such, rainfall accumulations there should only be between about 100 to 150 millimetres, with the wettest of locations around the Paluma Dam or Rollingston being around 225 to 250 millimetres, which is not crazy rainfall. It will still cause some problems here and there, especially in terms of riverine flash flooding, but it isn't anything absolutely absurd, which is very good news indeed. Now, whilst we're not done with the rainfall yet, it certainly is on its way out, and rainfall accumulation numbers are now starting to look a lot more prettier, at least on these maps here. You can see rainfall accumulations over the next 4 days, including the rainfall that's going to be coming through on Tuesday, still quite high around Ingham down towards Townsville. We're still talking about 500 to 550 millimetres here, and considering it's precipitated between other forecast models as well, I've got a very high degree of certainty in saying that this full 500 millimetres is going to blow through, but that is better than the 800 to 900 millimetres that we were talking about yesterday. So let's break it down at day by day, north to south as we normally do. So starting in Cairns, expecting a further 100 to 150 millimetres to fall. They did get a good helping of rainfall last night, but that was their best chance to pick up some significant rainfall accumulations around the Cairns area. And whilst there is still a good chance tonight and into early tomorrow morning, and then also Monday night and into Tuesday morning for Cairns, I don't see too much more rainfall falling around the Cairns area. So another 150 millimetres will kind of be the most that I can see. Around Belenda and Kerr Fishery Falls, then down towards Innisfail, anywhere between 200 to 400 millimetres can be expected there, especially along the coastline. I reckon there'll be up to 400 millimetres there. Into the Atherton Tablelands, Maribo and Ravenshoe and Atherton also expecting about 150 to 300 millimetres there. I don't really see a world where Maribo gets more than 150 millimetres, and even Atherton and Ravenshoe, I don't really foresee them getting more than 250 millimetres, but expect spot totals in the Atherton Tablelands to be up to about 300 or even 350 millimetres. A lot of that is just going to drain straight into the Herbert River, so not an ideal situation, that's for sure. Tully, I see about 500 millimetres coming through there. Cardwell as well, about 500 millimetres. Ingham, about 500 millimetres as well. And then just south of Ingham down towards the Paluma Dam and then Rollingston, I'm expecting spot falls down there to be between 500 and 700 millimetres on top of what's already fallen, of course, with the heaviest falls, like I said, coming through Monday night into Tuesday morning, and some also heavy showers expected tonight and also on Sunday night as well. So we need to keep a very close eye on these areas through here, especially around Rollingston. Some significant flash flooding can be expected, and thankfully there's the bulk of the rainfall here at 700 millimetres. It's not going to flow directly into the flood-ravaged Herbert River, which is just very stubbornly refusing to drop right now at Halifax, which is still at the moderate flooding alert, but it will drain into the Paluma Dam, which is currently at capacity, of course, and into the adjacent creeks and rivers that flow directly into the Coral Sea down there. So the Blue Water Creek, expecting the Black River as well, and some of the other rivers in these areas to really cop some significant flooding, but I'll get to the flood aspect of the forecast in just a hot second. Townsville, I'm seeing about 250 millimetres coming through there. Could be more, could be less. The forecast still a little bit uncertain, but then once you get outside of Townsville, especially further south down to around Guru, maybe about 200 millimetres there, air up to about 150 millimetres, and then rainfall will then very steadily ease off as you get further down the coastline. Bowen, Proserpine, Mackay, not expecting triple figure rainfall accumulations anymore. The majority of the rainfall there has already fallen, and it looks like it is going to be dry times from now on, at least for the next couple of weeks or so. Charters, Towers and Ravenswood about 100 millimetres a pop, and then some good falls also expected further inland out towards Forsyth and Georgetown, and even inland towards Croydon as well in the Gilbert River catchment. Some good falls also expected out there. I've got great confidence in saying that this is going to happen on the forecast. Considering the congruency between the Eastern Weather and the GFS forecast model, which are the two most reliable forecast models out there, I have great confidence in saying that this is going to pan out pretty much exactly how I've just narrated it. And just before I round out this part of the video, I would like to talk about the flooding situation up in North Queensland. So the Tully River is at the minor flooding alert right now. I'm expecting jumps to the moderate flooding alert, especially tonight and into Monday night as well, if it hasn't already reached there. Major flooding is no longer looking too likely for the Johnston River. Whilst it is still a possibility for both rivers, it is most likely to happen in the Tully River, and right now major flooding around Tully and South Mission Beach sitting at around a 50% chance right now. Could happen, but it also could not happen. Halifax, I'm expecting to jump up to the major flooding alert as well, especially Tuesday morning and into Tuesday afternoon, so expect to be cut off if you live on some of the adjacent beaches. I got a message last night from a lady in Taylor's Beach asking what the water levels were and when they're going to be cut off, but if you do live along the coastline, you've already been cut off and access isn't looking likely to be restored anytime soon. I think you've probably got another week until you get access to civilization, or at least parts of the Bruce Highway, which is also very, very fractured at this time. Further down the coastline, down towards Rollington as well, the river levels there are expected to rise dramatically. Mount Bowley should also get up towards the moderate flooding alert, especially Tuesday morning and into Tuesday evening. The Ross River up towards minor flooding, but again, I'm not expecting anything crazy down there. The Horton River as well, flowing up major flooding at Guru right now. I'm expecting that to hold for the coming couple of days before it begins to steadily drop there. The majority of that water has already flown through from the significant rainfall that we saw last week, and the Burdekin as well expected to break its banks as well along multiple points of the river, with major flooding expected throughout this weekend and into very early next week. But again, that's got nothing to do with the rainfall that's fallen or already falling over the coming couple of days. That's rainfall that happened last week that's flowing into the Burdekin River now. It's funny how it works. They're getting a dry flood down there where locations haven't picked up too much rainfall, but they're getting some major flooding that's disproportionate to the amount of rainfall that they have received. We're going to keep it on Queensland, but we're going to head out of far north Queensland. You can see things are now just starting to ease off, which is very, very nice to see indeed. But if you've got any questions or comments, then please do let me know in the comment section down below. 14-day rainfall accumulations now looking quite healthy across parts of New South Wales and even Victoria as well. And I would like to talk on the East Coast low and the thunderstorm risk as well across parts of New South Wales. We're expecting severe thunderstorms to fire up again tonight around the Canberra Captain's Flat area and extending inland out towards Albury, Griffith, and even as far north as Cobar and Wannerang in the northern parts of the state as well, as a frontal system moves through, and you can see showers and thunderstorms already beginning to develop on the radar and the satellite imagery around the Griffith and the Albury area. There were some good thunderstorms last night. If we pull the forecast or the radar imagery right back to last night at about 9 or 10 o'clock actually around Canberra, some good thunderstorms blew through there. But again, nothing absolutely absurd was recorded there, nothing in the way of crazy sized hailstones, but it certainly was quite a stormy night across parts of New South Wales. Pushing the forecast forward through tonight and this afternoon, you can see severe thunderstorms expected between Canberra and Sydney, expecting some good thunderstorms down towards Wollongong as well, and then thunderstorms later tonight heading into the Sydney metro area. Could be a couple of good showers and thunderstorms there. Tomorrow night, severe thunderstorms into the northern river section, especially north of Tamworth up to Stanthorpe over the border in southeast Queensland. Some good thunderstorms also expected to dot the coastline down through the eastern half of New South Wales, especially down towards Bega and Mallacoota. Some good thunderstorms also possible down there, and then good thunderstorms late Sunday night into Monday morning, with some powerful thunderstorms expected across central parts of New South Wales around the Orange, Bathurst, Dubbo, even out towards Newcastle and Tamworth area. Some really good thunderstorms expected in this area through Monday morning into Monday afternoon, and some good thunderstorms expected to move through the Canberra area as well late Monday evening. Then it's just going to be stormy, very stormy indeed, as a low pressure system builds itself right along the coastline, and then these thunderstorms aren't going to really ease off throughout Monday. We're expecting rainfall and showers to be funneled ashore through Monday afternoon and evening into Tuesday as well, with plenty of rainfall and showers expected along the New South Wales coastline to continue right through Tuesday, as an east coast low type system ramps itself up along the coastline. Now, wherever this low pressure system gets itself set up, in the center of the low pressure gets itself set up, which right now, at least on this forecast, is looking possible around the Sydney area, we're going to be seeing some strong winds and heavy rainfall wrap into the center of low pressure. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, and there is a huge amount of discrepancies between the forecast models in terms of what is expected right now, whereabouts this low pressure system will get itself set up. So I'm not going to have answers on this situation, at least on this forecast update here. It is still a little bit too uncertain. But one thing thing's for sure, some good rainfall accumulations can be expected, especially with showers and thunderstorms expected to set themselves up right offshore from the coastline. We're expecting falls up to about 100 to 150 millimetres over the next week or so along the New South Wales coastline. They could even be a little bit wetter as well, depending on what thunderstorms come through over the next 48 hours. And to be honest, if we saw dramatic rainfall accumulations over the next couple of days, I would not be shocked if we saw some minor flooding flowing into some of the rivers here adjacent to Sydney, Wollongong, and then south towards Ulladulla and Narooma, and even right down to the New South Wales-Victoria border as well. We cannot be writing that out right now, or writing that off right now. Some good force also expected into the northeast parts of New South Wales as well, around the northern rivers outside of Coffs Harbour and Grafton. Some really good showers and thunderstorms expected to move through there, and even inland out towards Inverell and Narrabri as well. Some good thunderstorms and showers also possible out there. But yeah, in terms of New South Wales, a little bit hard to give an accurate forecast right now, at least in terms of what that east coast low type system is going to be doing or what it's going to be up to. But for the time being, that certainly is the best that we can do in terms of a forecast. Some good showers and thunderstorms definitely going to be in the vicinity there, and it is still a little bit too early to tell exactly what's expected in regards to that east coast low. Now, if you've got an eagle eye, you'll notice me panning up towards Western Australia, and you'll see this big rain swathe here that's funneling in towards WA. Now, I said yesterday that forecast was pretty much impossible, but it's actually looking reasonably likely now that we're going to be seeing some kind of tropical low or tropical cyclone develop in the next couple of days offshore from the WA coastline. Now, I say reasonably likely very loosely because this system still has a lot of work to do, and it's only got a couple more days to do so. Let's take a look at what's expected here. You can see overnight we've seen plenty of showers and thunderstorms blow up over the northern parts of the Kimberley region of WA here, and these have been expected over the last couple of days to rotate themselves into an organised tropical low, but it certainly should be on its way to becoming an organised tropical low at this time. If it does organise into a tropical low, we're likely going to be seeing a small cyclone eventuate here, and that will rapidly intensify because of the very favourable waters adjacent to the WA coastline, and then move into Western Australia as a very strong tropical cyclone. That's at least what the forecast is suggesting right now. But in terms of broad rotation, yes, this system has it, but I mean, I could use that term very, very loosely. This is not an organised tropical low right now, and it's really, really struggling because of the wind shear coming off the WA mainland just because of the tropical moisture that's moving through into the Northern Territory right now. So my personal opinion is that this system is still not going to happen, but we need to be talking about the forecast regardless of that. So taking a look at the wind forecast right now, you can see the ECMWF is calling for a tight low pressure system to have already developed here, and same with the Axis G3 forecast, and both of these models are suggesting that this is going to become a powerful tropical cyclone. But you can see between the wind observations up here in northwest Western Australia, you've got winds that are coming out of the south pretty much everywhere. This does not look like an organised tropical low, at least on terms with the wind observations here, and whilst there is certainly a little bit of rotation here and there, it does not look like organised rotation at this time. So let's keep that in mind here and talk about what's actually expected over the coming couple of days with this storm's forecast. So like I said, rapidly developing throughout the remainder of today and becoming a strong tropical cyclone by the looks of things tomorrow evening, a very, very small one indeed. And the thing with small systems that they are very susceptible to their environment, and then by Monday it's already rapidly intensifying into what will be probably a severe tropical cyclone here, and then moving into the WA coastline around Port Hedlanders on Wednesday or Thursday is probably a category 3 or 4 strength severe tropical cyclone. That's at least what this forecast is saying here, and I'm not really buying it. Whilst it will have enough time offshore, about 3 or 4 days, to get up towards category 3 or 4 strength tropical cyclone status, realistically speaking, just considering its very small size, the high levels of wind shear in the West Australian waters environment right now, I just don't see this happening. Whilst a tropical low is certainly possible, and whilst a tropical cyclone is also possible here, I just don't see a strong small system careening into the WA coastline. That's not what we're expecting right now, and it's also looking really unlikely with what the conditions currently are, with the high levels of wind shear, like I said, and the fact that this system is a very broad and messy system. It's also a very large system as well, and expecting it to wrap up into a tropical cyclone in the next couple of days, I mean, it's a little bit unrealistic right now, especially considering it becomes a fully fledged tropical cyclone by tomorrow afternoon. The Axis has a different forecast altogether, and the Axis I normally treat very, very differently to other forecast models in terms of tropical cyclone forecasts, so I very rarely use it as a model here. But you can see rapidly developing through Sunday, becoming what would be pretty much a severe tropical cyclone late Sunday night into early Monday morning, so late tomorrow night, and then going into the WA coastline in the Kimberley region around Derby. And this is a much more unrealistic scenario, of course, and then obviously holding its intensity as it moves further inland as well, just drenching interior parts of Western Australia. So yeah, again, take this forecast as well with a very, very heavy pinch of salt, and considering there's just a massive discrepancy between what the ECMWF and the Axis have to say in terms of where this system's going to be making a crossing, not only is that a very And does that bring in a lot of uncertainty into the forecast? But it also means that the models, they just don't exactly know what they're working with right now. They don't know what they've initialized in terms of the tropical structure of this system. And like I said, if we cross-reference back to the satellite imagery, it looks awful. Like, pardon my French, it just looks like crap, it does, offshore from Western Australia. So this system is nowhere near becoming a tropical cyclone or wrapping itself up into a tropical low. And whilst there is about a 50-50 chance of a tropical cyclone materializing, or at least a tropical low materializing here and moving into the WA coastline, it's not worth enough, in my opinion, at least in terms of impacts. At least on the Kimberley region, I'd expect some heavy rainfall over the coming couple of days, so definitely work with that in the back of your head, that you do have some heavy falls coming in over the coming couple of days there, between 200 and 400 millimetres if you live north of Broome through Derby and up towards Columbaroo. There's going to be some heavy falls here and there, and then heavy showers and thunderstorms as well. You could be expecting between 100 and 300 millimetres across the remainder of the Kimberley region as well. So regardless of what happens, some heavy rainfall is expected, but in terms of impacts on the WA coastline, if you live between Port Hedland and Derby, including Broome, certainly keep a very close eye on this forecast right now. And this probably serves as a very good heads up that you need to be making sure that your cyclone kit is in high gear right now. It's all ready, and that you've got plenty of time here to prepare for this system here, because things can rapidly change and rapidly evolve. But at this time, I mean, I just do not see it. There's not a bone in me that sees this system here becoming a powerful tropical cyclone and being an actual serious threat to the WA coastline, which is what a lot of people are saying right now. But this is my hunch based off 7 years of looking at the forecast models on windy.com. I've got a lot to say about this system, and it's nothing good in terms of this becoming a tropical cyclone. It really, the chances of this system becoming a powerful tropical cyclone as well, very, very slim at this time. So do with that information what you will. You can consult other agencies, I don't mind. But in my personal opinion, which right now is just an opinion based off what I see on the satellite imagery, so there is a little bit of evidence to it, it's not looking good, the chances at least, for this system here. We do have other systems though to entertain us well offshore from Western Australia, well and truly Category 5 strength tropical cyclone Vince, which is halfway between Australia and Madagascar at this time. I mean, this is a brute of a system here. Take a look at the structure of this storm here, and it's held it for the last 24 hours as well. An annular tropical cyclone, no real bands to talk about. This is a very powerful tropical cyclone, but it is beginning to weaken off right now. Peak wind speeds in the centre approaching 270 kilometres an hour, with maximum wind gusts up to about 330 kilometres an hour. So this is not a storm that you'd be wanting to have a landfall on Western Australia or Australia as a whole. This would be tropical cyclone moniker levels of intensity right now. It is a very, very powerful system. I think that goes without saying. And it's stealing all of Tiffany Talia's wrath over here south of the Cocos-Keeling Islands. Very struggling this morning, Talia is. But it is still expected, as per the Bureau of Meteorology forecast, to get up towards Category 3 strength severe tropical cyclone status. But it is rapidly now moving towards the edge of the Australian area of responsibility. So I reckon it will get dropped by the Bureau of Meteorology pretty shortly. Anyways, that basically does it for Australia's weather update this morning. I do hope I've answered everyone's questions and comments. I do feel bad I haven't been able to talk much about the heatwave over in Western Australia either, or even parts of the Northern Territory or South Australia. It's been another detail-packed video, so if you've got any questions or comments, or you feel like your area hasn't been covered enough, then please do let me know in the comment section down below. There's only so much I can do with about 20 minutes of airtime each day. I will be releasing an afternoon update as well, and it's going to be evenly split between the Queensland situation and the WA tropical cyclone as well. I just want to see what's going to be happening, and as some of you may know, I'm heading down south as well on a holiday for a week-long stint of time as well. Starting tomorrow, so videos will be few and far between from then on. In terms of the Queensland situation as well, just make sure you're staying safe from the flooding. Any questions or concerns, if you've got a specific question for a river or for your location, then please don't hesitate to hit me up on Messenger as well. I'd be more than happy to get back to you over there as well. But that is all from me this morning, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.